When people hear agent loop, they often imagine something fully autonomous. But the simplest useful loop is much smaller than that. A human gives one prompt, the agent does one round of work, responds, and waits. That pattern is called a turn-based loop. It is triggered by a user prompt, and the human decides whether there will be another turn. The agent is active during the turn, but the person still controls the cadence. This matters because many real workflows start here. Before you trust a loop to continue by itself, you usually want to watch how it behaves step by step. That makes the manual loop a practical starting pattern. So if you want the cleanest mental model, start with this. Prompt, work, check, respond, review, next prompt. That is the manual agent loop. In this lesson, I will define the turn-based loop clearly. It is a loop triggered by a user prompt and controlled manually by the human. Then I will show the situations where this pattern fits best. When you are exploring, when the task is short, when you want to review each step, when the work is not recurring, and when success criteria are still fuzzy. We will also walk the full flow. User prompt, agent works, agent checks, agent responds, human reviews, next prompt. That simple sequence is the whole operating model, and we will end with the production lesson. Turn-based loops are useful, but they do not scale well because the human controls every turn. A turn-based loop is still a loop because the work can repeat across multiple turns. But the repetition is manual, not automatic. Each new cycle starts only when the human sends the next instruction. That makes the user the scheduler, the approval gate, and often the scope manager. The agent does the work inside the turn, but the human decides whether to continue, redirect, or stop. Compared with a more autonomous agent, this pattern keeps risk lower because nothing keeps running on its own after the response is sent. The agent pauses and waits. So the simplest definition is not complicated. One prompt creates one turn of work, and a human manually decides the next turn. Step 1 is the user prompt. The human gives the next instruction, sets the immediate goal, and provides whatever context is needed for this round. Step 2 is agent works. The agent reads the request, gathers context, runs tools if allowed, and moves the task forward inside the current turn. Step 3 is agent checks. Before it replies, the agent should verify what it found, what changed, and whether the result actually answers the prompt. Step 4 is the response and human review. The agent reports back, the human reviews the result, and only then decides whether to send the next prompt. That decision creates the next loop cycle. Use a turn-based loop when you are exploring. Maybe you are learning a new code base, investigating an incident, or mapping an unfamiliar process. In that phase, step-by-step visibility matters more than speed. Use it when the task is short or when you want to review each step carefully. Small bug checks, research passes, or one-off documentation tasks often fit this pattern well. Use it when the work is not recurring. If the job is rare, custom, or constantly changing, a manual loop is often cheaper than designing a more automated workflow too early. And use it when success criteria are not fully clear yet. If the finish line is still being discovered, keeping a human in charge of each turn helps the loop adapt without pretending certainty. Imagine a user asks, "Check why this test suite is failing and tell me what to inspect next." That is a good turn-based loop task because the human wants findings first, not blind automation. The agent investigates one round. It reads the failing output, looks at the relevant files, checks recent changes, and summarizes the likely cause. Then the human reviews the answer and sends the next prompt. For example, reproduce the failure locally or draft a small patch, or compare this with the previous working commit. That pattern can continue for several turns, but the key point stays the same. The human decides every new step, so the loop stays controlled even while the task evolves. This is exactly why turn-based loops are useful. They are easy to start, easy to review, and easy to stop. They help teams learn the shape of the work before they automate more of it. But this is also why they do not scale well. If a human has to trigger every step, throughput stays low, and response time depends on when that person is available. They are also a poor fit for recurring workflows that should keep moving while people sleep, or for long jobs that need many repeated checks. In those cases, manual control becomes a bottleneck. So the production lesson is balanced, not extreme. Turn-based loops are useful, but they are not the final form. They are often the first stable pattern before a team designs safer, partial autonomy. Keep the definition simple. A turn-based loop is a loop triggered by a user prompt and controlled manually by the human. Use it when you are exploring, when the task is short, when you want to review each step, when the work is not recurring, and when the success criteria are still not fully clear. Remember the flow. User prompt, agent works, agent checks, agent responds, human reviews, next prompt. That is the manual agent loop. If you want more practical engineering lessons on AI agents, cloud systems, Terraform, and safe automation design, subscribe to Trustscrin Cloud and AI Engineering.